Alrighty, folks, it is Tuesday, June 6, 2023. And I'm still feeling great on a Tuesday morning because I'm now 7-0 in my last 7 daily best plays on my website. And the good news is today's daily best play is only going to cost you just $1.99. You're actually going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. If you purchase that membership here today. And with that, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to start off with the Tigers at the Phillies, 6:40 Eastern first pitch. Philadelphia is minus 210, totals 9.5. Taijuan Walker for Philadelphia, Tyler Alexander for Detroit. Now, Alexander's got an ERA in the 6s after 24 innings of work. And even if Alexander has a good showing here today, these Detroit hitters can't hit for shit. They're averaging a league-low 3.3 runs a game in their travels. They're facing Taijuan Walker, who's 4-3 on the year for the Phils, with 45 strikeouts. And even if Walker struggles, the Phils have had little issues getting base runners at the bank. These guys are a top 10 hit-producing team on their own diamond. Nick Castellanos leads the team in hits. He actually ranks 5th in the bigs in batting average. Meanwhile, Bryce Harper is hitting .303 at the dish himself. Alec Boehm's still out with a hammy. Vierling Green and Carpenter inactive for Detroit. 3 out of the Tigers' last 4 road games did stay under the number. Meanwhile, Philadelphia went 60% to the under in their last 10. Give me the Fightins, minus 1.5, under 9.5 runs. Next contest, Royals, Marlins, 6:40 Eastern start time. Miami's $1.60, totals 8. Jesus Luzardo for Miami, Zach Greinke for Kansas City. And out of 62-plus innings of work, Zach Greinke's recorded just 1 win on the season. And no real surprise here, Greinke has an ERA in the 4s. Now he's also backed by a Royals lineup who scores just 3.4 runs a game on the road. The only team worse in that category is Detroit. And like I just said, they can't hit for shit. Now, they're facing Jesus Luzardo on the mound for Miami, and he's been a big strikeout guy. Jesus fanned 78 batters in just 66+. The Fish are also on a 4-game winning streak, and they scored 32 total runs during that short span. Luis Arias is hitting a staggering .399 at the plate. You just can't get the guy out. He's always on base, and obviously he is currently the league leader in batting average. We have not seen a consistent batting average that high in some time. Now, Jorge Soler's 4th in the bigs in home runs. Garcia and Chisholm are still out for the Fish. Isabel is nursing a hammy for KC. The Royals are 18-10 to the under as the road team. Miami went 61% to the under this year at Lone Depot Park. Give me Miami minus 160, under 8. Next game, Twins, Rays, 6:40 Eastern first pitch. Tampa Bay is minus 175, totals 8. Zach Eflin for Tampa Bay, Louis Varland for Minnesota. And even though Louis's been good, the Twins do play their worst baseball on the road. They have a losing record away from Target Field, and their hitters strike out more times a game than any other lineup in the league. They're facing Zach Eflin, who's been real tough to hit against for Tampa Bay this season. He's 7-1 on the year with a 1.00 whip. And even if Zach struggles, the Rays are scoring more runs a game than any other roster besides Texas. Wander Franco, he currently leads the club in hits. Of course, Yandy Diaz, he currently has the 2nd highest OPS average in the bigs. Now, Brandon Lau still out for Tampa. Gallo, Gordon, and Larnach inactive for Minnesota. 6 out of the Twins' last 10 ball games did fall under the total. Tampa Bay also went 60% to the under in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Rays minus 175, under 8. Next contest, it is going to be D-backs at the Nationals, 7:05 Eastern first pitch. Arizona's minus 155 in the nation's capital, totals 9.5. Tommy Henry for Arizona, Jake Irvin for Washington. And out of 27 innings of work, Irvin's got just one win and an ERA of 5.67. Now, the Nats pitching staff is also dead last in the majors in strikeouts. They're facing an Arizona team who's got a top 5 run-producing lineup in the National League. Lourdes Gurriel's batting .310, and he leads the roster in hits. Meanwhile, Christian Walker has a team-high 36 runs batted in. Now, Arizona also has Tommy Henry on the mound, who's lost just one game this season. He does have an ERA in the 3s. Kyle Lewis is still out for the D-backs. Victor Robles inactive for Washington. 3 out of Washington's last 4 at Nationals Park did get over the number. They're also 60% of the over in their last 10 at any location. Arizona's 63% of the over when they bat first. Give me the D-backs minus 155, over 9.5. Next ball game, White Sox Yankees, 7:05 Eastern first pitch. New York's minus $1.65, totals 8.5. Clark Schmidt for the Bombers, Lucas Giolito for Chicago. Now, Giolito's got a handful of losses and an ERA in the 4s. The White Sox also struggle getting on base on the road. They're averaging only 7.7 hits a game while traveling. Now, they're facing Clark Schmidt on the mound for New York. He's got 65 strikeouts and just 55 plus. Now, the Yankees have slowly improved in the run production department as well. These guys are now in the top 10 in the league in runs per game on average. Aaron Judge has a league best 1.078 OPS average. He's also got the most home runs in the American League. Meanwhile, Anthony Rizzo's the team leader in hits. Bader and Allen are still out for New York. Hamilton's injured for Chicago. Now, the White Sox saw their last 4 straight road games all get over the total. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Yankees minus 165, over 8.5. Next contest, A's Pirates, 7:05 Eastern first pitch. Pittsburgh's minus 260, totals 8.5. Mitch Keller for Pittsburgh, James Caprillion for Oakland. Now, Jimmy's 0-6 with an ERA in the 8s. Now, the A's also have the worst record in baseball. They're going up against Mitch Keller on the mound for Pittsburgh, and he's been outstanding. Keller's 7-1 with an ERA in the 3s. He's also got 93 strikeouts and a 1.08 whip. And even if Keller blows chunks here today, the Pirates are currently on a 6-game heater. They have had little issue sending runners across the plate during that stretch. Brian Reynolds currently leads the team in hits. Jack Sawinski's got a team high in home runs. Now, the Pirates did see the overcash in 6 out of their last 10 outings. Meanwhile, 3 out of Oakland's last 4 on the road did get over as well. Give me Pittsburgh minus 1.5, over 8.5. Next contest I have for you. It is going to be the Astros at the Blue Jays, 7:07 Eastern first pitch. Toronto's minus $1.30 at home, totals 8. Kevin Gausman for Toronto, Hunter Brown for Houston. Now, Brown's got a handful of wins on the year and more than a handful of strikeouts. The righty struck out 74 batters in just 62-plus innings of work. These Houston pitchers as a whole, they're actually allowing fewer runs per contest than any other staff in baseball. This is arguably the best pitching staff in the game, at least the numbers say so. Now, they're facing a Toronto team who actually has a tough time producing. They've had a tough time producing runs against the Astros in recent gatherings. In their last 10 head-to-head meetings, the Jays have been held to under 3.8 runs per contest. And even though Kevin Gausman's had some filthy stuff on the mound this year, the Astros were able to rack up 11 total runs just last night in Toronto. Now, Jansen and Espinal are still out for the Jays. Brantley injured for Houston. 6 out of the Stros' last 10 meetings with Toronto did stay under the numbers. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of unders to go around. Now, the Blue Jays are 17-9 to the under in their own building. Give me Houston plus $1.10, under 8. Next ball game, Red Sox Guardians, 7:10 Eastern start time. Cleveland's minus $1.20, total 7.5. Shane Bieber for Cleveland, James Paxton for Boston. Paxton's averaging well over a strikeout an inning in limited action. He's also punched out 27 batters in just 19 innings pitched. And when it comes to offensive production, Boston does have a top 5 hitting lineup. Masataka Yoshida, he's batting .312 at the dish. Meanwhile, Rafi Devers is third in the bigs in RBI. And even though they do have to face Shane Bieber on the bump for Cleveland, Biebs might not get the run support he needs here today. The Guardians they simply don't score a lot of runs at Progressive Field. They're scoring a league-low 2.7 runs a game in their own stadium. That is a league worst in that category. Josh Bell is still out for the Guardians. Mondesi and Story inactive for Boston. Now, the Red Sox have gone 60% to the under in their last 10. And no real surprise here, Cleveland 7-3 to the under in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Red Sox plus $1, under 7.5. Next contest, Dodgers-Reds, 7:10 Eastern first pitch. LA Dodgers are minus $2 on the road, totals 10 runs. Tony Gonsolin for Los Angeles, Luke Weaver for Cincinnati. Now, Weaver's got just one win on the season through 43-plus innings. And no real shock here, guys. The righty's got himself an ERA in the 5s. And in addition to this Reds pitching staff struggling as a whole unit, the Cincy hitters, they also have a problem with strikeouts at the dish. They're a bottom 5 strikeout team in the National League. They're facing Tony Gonsolin, who's got just one loss in the year and an ERA of 1.77. Now, the Dodgers also lead the entire National League in runs per game. Freddie Freeman's batting .331, and he ranks 5th in the bigs in OPS. Meanwhile, Max Muncy's a top 3 home run guy in the bigs. Trace Thompson is out for Los Angeles. Senzel, India, and Fraley are questionable for Cincinnati. Now, Myers and Friedel are also inactive for the Reds as well. Since he went 60% to the over in their last 10 ball games, the Dodgers saw 7 out of their last 10 get over the total themselves. Give me the Dodgers minus 1.5, over 10. Next game, little NL East action. Mets Braves, 7:20 Eastern start time. Atlanta's minus $1.70, totals 9.5. Bryce Elder for Atlanta, Carlos Carrasco for New York. Now, Carrasco's got just a couple of wins on the season and an ERA close to 6. The Mets also have a bottom 10 run-producing lineup. They're facing Bryce Elder, who's been excellent on the hill for Atlanta this year. Out of 65-plus innings of work, Elder is yet to record a loss this season. He's also got himself an ERA of 1.92. And even if Elder runs into some problems, these Braves hitters are in the top 5 in runs per game. Ronald Acuna is hitting .331, and he has the 4th highest OPS average in the big leagues. Meanwhile, Matt Olson's got 17 home runs and 43 RBI. Both are amongst the best in the National League. Now, the Braves are currently 7-1 to the over in their last 8 divisional home games. They're also averaging 6 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Mets. Give me the Braves minus 170, over 9.5. Next matchup, it is going to be O's at the Brewers, 7:40 Eastern start time. Milwaukee's minus $1.25 at home, totals 8.5 runs. Freddie Peralta for Milwaukee, Kyle Gibson for Baltimore. I'll tell you what a pickup for Baltimore and Kyle Gibson. He's got 7 wins on the year already with an ERA in the 3s. Baltimore's also got a top 3 run-producing lineup on the road. I'll tell you, there's no shortage of runs being scored in the AL East this year. Ryan Mountcastle's tied for the club lead in RBI. Austin Hayes is hitting .301 in the box. Now they're facing Freddie Peralta on the mound, and he's got a handful of losses and a 1.41 whip. When it comes to offensive production, the Brewers are averaging fewer hits a game at home than any other lineup in baseball besides one. Ruff, Winker, and Taylor are still out for the Brew Crew. Cedric Mullins, he popped a testicle for Baltimore. Not going to see him in action. Now, the O's are 8-3 to the under in their last 11 interleague ball games. Milwaukee's gone 67% to the under against American League opponents at home. Give me Baltimore plus 105, under 8.5. Next contest, Cards, Rangers, 8:05 Eastern first pitch. Texas is $1.50, total 9.5. Dane Dunning for the Rangers, Matt Liberator for St. Louis. And out of a short body of work, Libby's got an ERA dangerously close to 5. And even if Liberator throws well, the Cards have certainly struggled getting across the plate away from home. These guys currently find themselves in the bottom 5 in the National League in runs per game on the road. Now, they're going to have to face Dane Dunning here today, who's got only one loss through 48 innings. Dunning's currently got a stingy 2.06 ERA along with a 1.04 whip. And for those who don't already know, the Rangers have the best hitting lineup in the game right now. It's actually been that way for quite some time. Adolis Garcia, he's got the second most RBI in the majors. Marcus Semion's right behind him. He's 4th in the bigs in that same category. Now, Brad Miller's still out for Texas. O'Neill, Carlson, and Nootbaar injured for St. Louis. The Cards did see 9 out of their last 10 ball games stay under the total. They're also 70% to the under against American League competition on the road. Give me the Rangers minus $1.50, under 9.5. Next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Giants at the Rockies. A little divisional showdown here, 8:40 Eastern start time in the Rocky Mountains. Now, San Francisco's minus $1.40 on the road, totals 12. John Brabia for San Francisco, Danielson Lamet for Colorado. And even though Lamet stinks right now, stinks like farts, the Rockies do play their best baseball at Coors Field. They've got a winning record at home, and they're averaging over 9.6 hits a game there. So once again, even though Lamet smells like a rancid fart, like a shart, these Rockies hitters, they're hitting the ball well at Coors Field, averaging nearly double-digit hits a game there. Elias Diaz, he's hitting .309 at the plate. Ryan McMahon's the club leader in RBI. Now, they're facing a San Francisco team who lost 5 out of their last 6 divisional road games. Not doing great against the NL West this year. These Giant hitters also strike out just way too much. They're fanning over 10.8 times a game on the road. That is a league worst in that category. Peterson and Estrada are still out for the Giants. Conforto is questionable. Meanwhile, Crone and Bryant are inactive for Colorado. 2 out of the Rockies' last 3 at Coors Field did get over the total. San Francisco's 5-4 to the over in their last 9 divisional contests. Give me Colorado plus 1.5, over 12. Next ball game, Cubs, Angels, 9:38 Eastern first pitch. The LA Angels are minus 130, totals 9.5. Tyler Anderson for Los Angeles, Hayden Wesneski for Chicago. Now, Wisniewski's got just a couple of losses on the year, along with a 1.28 whip. I tell you what, he's been more than serviceable at times. Now, the Chicago pitchers, they're also in the top 10 in fewest hits allowed per contest. I know that seems highly improbable, but that is certainly the case right now. Now, they're facing an Angels lineup who strikes out over 8.6 times a game at home. The Angels also lost 4 out of their last 6 interleague home games. Now, pitching-wise, Tyler Anderson hasn't been great. He's got an ERA in the 5s along with a 1.59 whip. Really hasn't given these guys a great chance to win. Rendon and Stassi are still out for the Angels. Cody Bellinger inactive for Chicago. The Cubs are 8-1 to the over in their last 9 road games against the American League. The Angels are 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Cubbies plus 1.5, over 9.5 runs. And with that, guys, now it's time for our next and final breakdown for the video. It's going to be in that Mariners-Padres game, 9:40 Eastern first pitch. San Diego's minus 135, total 7.5. Joe Musgrove for San Diego, Logan Gilbert for Seattle. Now, Gilbert's he's amongst the American League leaders in strikeouts. He's got 73 punch-outs in just 64 innings. The righty's also got himself a .98 whip. And when it comes to control, no one's doing it better than this M's pitching staff. They're allowing a league-low 2.5 free passes a game. They're facing a Padres lineup who struggles getting base runners themselves. They're actually averaging under 7.3 hits a game, and that is nearly dead last in the bigs in that category. And in the Padres' last dozen ball games against the American League, they did take the loss 8 times during that stretch. Joe Musgrove's got a 4.71 ERA and a 1.38 WHIP. Cruz and Dahl are still out. Grisham's questionable. The Pods saw their last 4 straight at Petco Park stay under the number. They're also 10-2 to the under in all of their interleague contests. Give me Seattle plus $1.15, under 7.5. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Give me Philadelphia minus 1.5, under 9.5 runs. Miami minus $1.60, under 8. Tampa Bay minus 175, under 8 runs. Arizona minus $1.55, over 9.5. New York Yankees minus 165, over 8.5. Pittsburgh minus 1.5, over 8.5 runs. Houston plus $1.10, under 8. Boston plus $1, under 7.5. LA Dodgers minus 1.5, over 10. Atlanta minus 170, over 9.5. Baltimore plus 105, under 8.5. Texas minus 150, under 9.5. Colorado plus 1.5, over 12. Chicago Cubs plus 1.5, over 9.5 runs. With my next and final free pick for the video, give me the Mariners plus $1.15, under 7.5. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website. Now, if you guys do end up signing up for that $1.99 daily best play here today, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And I'll tell you what, if you sign up for my chairman package, it is a full access, all-inclusive membership. It gives you access to every single personal play of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And of course, as an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast, absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.